Hey everyone, welcome back. Doing another getting to know video here, this time focused on Brimstone. Brimstone, as you can see here, is another controller, similar to Viper before him. And a controller, same as Viper, is really going to dominate the lines of sight of the enemy. So that will help you on attack, safely get onto sight, or on defense will really help you delay enemy pushes, buying your team valuable time to either rotate or just delay any sort of planting effort from the enemy. The first ability of his we're going to focus on is his E ability, his signature ability, if you will, called Sky Smoke. And Sky Smoke is what it sounds like. You press E and it opens up this mini map on his wrist, and then within that mini map you can select sites, up to 3 sites if you have bought all 3 of his smokes, and then when you right click, it will deploy smokes there. There is a slight delay, so you basically go into the mini map, you left click, pick 3 different locations, up to 3 different locations, and then right click, and then your smoking grenades will drop from the sky and deploy a sphere of smoke that lasts a short duration. You can do up to 3, you can do 1 at a time, but 3 is the maximum. To demo his E ability, I'm just here in the practice range, and you can see when I press E, it pulls up this mini map that I was talking about from his wrist. And then with this, I can left click in some spots, and it will place these little circles. And then when I right click, smokes will come down from the sky. You can see there's a short delay, but you can see I was able to call in smokes in all of the locations that I indicated on that. So it is really, really intuitive, but you do have to be safe because when you're in this mode, you can move around, but you obviously can't fire back. So if someone sees you when you have this mini map open, you're very vulnerable. The next ability we're going to focus on here is his Q ability called Incendiary. You'll hear a lot of people also refer to this as his Molly or Molotov. And what this is the grenade launcher you see on his shoulder there. He will pull it out, load up a charge, and fire an incendiary grenade off that will bounce for a short time and then explode into a pool of fire. And the pool of fire will cover the ground, and it does damage over time to enemies or allies that happen to be in it. So it's a good way to zone off enemies from crossing an area for a short period of time. It's also very good in union with his smokes because within the smoke they can't tell that the incendiary is there. So if you're trying to do damage with it, combining it with one of his smokes is a really good way to do that. Demoing his Q ability now, his Molotov. If you press Q, he pulls out this grenade launcher, loads the charge, and then by left clicking, he fires it off. You can see it does, even on the ground, bounce a short distance before deploying. And then if we run over here, you can see it covers a good area and will do damage to you and your teammates if you walk into it. You're also able to do things like bounce this off of walls. So if you need to get it around a corner or something, it will do that. And again, bounces a short distance on the ground and then deploys into an area. The next ability we're looking at here is his C ability, his Stim Beacon, and this is a little puck he will pull out and throw on the ground, and it will create an area around it that boosts your rate of fire and your allies' rate of fire, and also your enemy's rate of fire within that area. In my opinion, this is his least useful ability. I don't find a lot of situations where I wish I had it. Primarily because so much of this game is based on those tap headshots, and increasing rate of fire really is just going to increase your spray, so you're just going to get to that spray point faster. But it is useful in a pinch if it's you versus several people and you have to spray. This will increase your rate of fire and help you spray transfer more quickly. Demonstrating his C ability now, you can see that when I press the letter C key, he pulls out this hockey puck, and then by left clicking, he'll throw it out. And you can see there's a nice ring on the ground indicating where the AoE will apply. You can see when I step into it, my gun fires at a much faster rate, but it does still have the same spread effect. Another thing to note with this, by throwing another one, you can step into it and out of it, and it does stay applied for a short period of time. You can see I still have it. So you can do things like place this around the corner so the enemy doesn't see you, and then step out of it, run, and still have that rate of fire increase applied. And finally, we come to his ultimate ability, his X, called Orbital Strike. This ability, similar to his E, When you hit X to activate it, it will pull up a mini map on his wrist. And again, you'll have a reticule, very similar to his E. Two main differences here. One, the reticule is much bigger with Orbital Strike. And two, and this is an important one, when you left click with Orbital Strike, it immediately casts. There is no right click to confirm like there is with his E ability. Other than that, when you click, it calls down a Hellfire Strike from above. It does damage over time. It's like 10 damage a tick. It can kill someone, but you have to pretty well center it on them, and it has to be in an area where it's difficult for them to escape. It's more often used for some damage and especially for zoning, but it is really powerful and does have that kill ability. And now finally, to demonstrate his ultimate ability, his X ability, you can see that when I press X, it pulls up that same mini map from your E ability, and it's going to cast the same way, with the major difference being as soon as I left click here, it's going to go. So when I left click, you can see he casts it, and after a short delay, the Orbital Strike comes down and does damage over time to anyone in that area. And that's all she wrote. That is everything there is to know about Brimstone. He's really fun to play. You can really help your team, but he does really require communication, because you have to tell your team when you're going to smoke somewhere, for example, or if you're going to ult somewhere or molly somewhere, you need to let them know so they're not in that area. But he's a lot of fun, and you can really, really dominate a game with him, especially with well-placed smokes. So take what you learned here, go give him a try, let me know what you think.